Okay, to do the angle, you're going to look for these two holes right here. They should be on this side of the robot with the board facing this way. And what you're going to do after that is you're going to take this piece right here with the two bumps right here. And then you're going to take the angle board with the mount for the phototransistors with nails in it, and you're just going to put these together. Actually, I put that in the wrong way. You want the phototransistors to come out this way, and you want the mount to position this way. Okay, so what you're going to want to do once you have this like this, you're going to just apply super glue to the inside part. And you're going to quickly place it right here, perpendicular to your pulley mount. And just hold it there until it dries. And then once you've done that, you're going to take your LED and bring it around the other side and find the you're going to stick your corresponding LEDs into the other side. Like that. Okay, just stop. Okay, now once you have everything mounted here, you're going to want to clip your nails to about half length. And you're going to want to put hot glue right here to protect your solder connections, because this carbon fiber tube is actually conductive, and that'll short out your board. So when you're hot gluing this, you're going to take the hot glue gun and make sure to cover all these solder points. And then just do a line down the back and up against the tube. Let me get those pins in the back there. And that's good for now. Okay, so to get your end arm optical encoder on, you are going to mount your photo transistors up here. They should snap in, and then use some hot glue to secure them in place. And then you correspond in here, and after you have those through, you're going to put some hot glue right here after pulling them through as tight as possible while making sure they come through the side here. This will get them out of the way when you put it on your pulley. Okay, now I've already done that, so to do this, you just take it, put it up here, and it should snap on like that. And to mount it, you're just going to take your hot glue gun and put a strip down the back. There's no need to cover up the solder points because you haven't got to put this on the carbon fiber. You just put it on the PLA and hold it in place. Now to connect it, you're going to take your SM and you are going to find the ground pin, which is right up here. When you have the pins facing to the left, your ground is the top, which your ground wire is your black wire. So to connect this, I will connect it here and then send it through the back, through the wires, through the belts, and on your motorboard, you are just going to connect it to the end pins with black on top. And that is how you connect your end arm. So now we're going to do the base. To start off, you're going to need to super glue 2 M3 nuts into these holes. So I already have my nut on a screw here. I'm just going to put some super glue on the edges. And then I'm just going to stick it right in, work it in, and thread my screw out, and now it's in there. And now I'm going to do it for the second one. Okay, now once you have those done, you're going to take your nail piece with your reamed holes. You should ream those out with a box cutter. I'm just going to take a screw, this tightened to this, to your main pivot, you're going to take your photo interrupter with your opto on it, blue to the left when facing this way. And then you just slide it on the nails. And then you're going to take your base 6 pin, connect it here, and then come up to your board. And connect it to your base, black wire up. Okay, once you have your piece nailed through the photo interrupter for the photo transistors, you're going to stick the nails through. You're going to glue your opto onto the back of the piece here, and you're going to want to orient the piece like this and align it to your bot so that the curve of this matches the curve of the code disk right here. Okay, and then once you've done that, you're going to take some hot glue, put it right here, and just like that. And then once you got that hot glued there, you're good. You're going to want to mount your pivot LED right here and have it flush on against this plastic piece right here. And once you do that, you are just going to leave it there until we start calibration. Once you have your LDDP made, when we put it on the bot, you should have your angle and rotate marked. If you don't, you can try just pulling on one of these and seeing which one of these bundles of wires moves. This one is the angle, and down here is the rotate, along with the wires for your end effectors. To start, I'm going to plug the angle and the rotate into the board with the black wire facing up. And then I'm just going to feed this back here. To the bot. Just going to feed these through here. Then next, I'm going to feed this through the tube here. be sure to not get any of your end arm wires in. You may have to try a few times before you get all the wires in, but you'll eventually get it. Push this through, and when you get to these, I like to just get them in. And pull. It might take a few tries with pulling though. And just pull it through once you have that bundle of wires inside. Next, you're going to take this bundle of the wires right here, and you're going to send it through this carbon fiber tube up here. One thing you can do if you want to clean up the wires is add a piece of heat shrink right here. And you know what? I'm actually going to do that. You're going to want to take a piece of heat shrink about this long, and you're going to put it over your wire harness here. Then what you want to do is get it over everything. You might want to have to pull this a little more, but then you just position it and take some super glue. Then you just want to apply a thin line. And then just put it right here, right on your end arm hub below the belts. And then what you want to do after that is you want to solder a 6x connector onto this bundle of 6 wires, and also solder a 6x connector onto these 6 wires. Do the same pattern as you did before when you were making your other connectors, and then you just connect them. You should actually feed these through the carbon fiber tube first. You have to do this after putting it on though, because you won't be able to feed anything through once you get them on. Once you have your 6x soldered like so, you should put some sort of strain relief on it. Hot glue works well. I'm just not going to because this is just demonstration purposes, but once you have your 6x, you want to connect it to your rotate opto. Black should be on this pin. The FB2, that's your ground. And then you take your angle, which I personally had to extend my wires on. If you have to as well, you should use 28 gauge wires. You just connect it like this. These extra 5 wires go to your end effector, which is why you have these 5 wires. Match for the 4 colors that match up together. If you have these 4 colors with an extra red, or if you don't, just match up the colors. You should match up the yellow with an extra red because that will be another power just with more voltage to it. Okay, so when you're working with your end effector wires on this end, there's some things you should consider. The yellow wire is going to go to your main power in the positive. This will provide high power for any end effectors that might need it, such as an extruder or anything of the likes. These red and black wires, they're going to go to a 2x connector, which will connect to the 5-volt connector on your board. And lastly, we have the green and blue wires. These will connect to an EEIO connector, and that will connect into your board. Again, we're going to use the yellow wire. So this is simple. All you have to do is strip the yellow wire. And I strongly recommend tinning it so that the wire doesn't fray. Just like that. And I'm not sure how you are going to want to clean up your wires, as you can do it so many different ways. But what you're going to do is take your yellow wire, route it however you want, and then you're going to connect it to your positive on your main power. Tighten it down. And that's how you get your yellow wire connected. This is what you should end up doing with your black and red wires. Solder them to a 2x. If you decide to connect a fan, which we strongly recommend, you are also going to solder the black and red wires to the same connections here. One thing we recommend doing is doing a Y connection where you solder the 2 wires together and then solder it to the pin header. That's what is generally the best method to do for that. We didn't do that this video, but to put it on, you're just going to take the 2x and find the 5-volt connector on your board. It is right here. You're going to connect your 2x with the black wire facing up. So once you grab your EEIO connector, you're going to want to identify the front of it. This side is the front. This is the back where it will connect to your board. You want to take the front and put it right here. Have somewhere to stabilize it. And then you're going to want to take your blue wire and stick it in the left. Once you do that, you're going to take your soldering iron I'm going to get some solder on it real quick before I stick the wire back in. You're going to stick it in and just melt the solder right on top. Once you solder your blue in, you should have something that looks like that. Then once you do that, you're just going to take your green, do the same thing on the other side. Be careful to not melt the plastic with your soldering iron like I just did. But when you have your EEIO connector made and all soldered up, you're going to come to this side of the board where your power is, and you're going to take your EEIO connector, plug it into this slot on the bottom here. And that's how you connect your EEIO connector.